Hey everybody, Dr. Rory Stern of ADHDFamilyOnline.com, and right now I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to step back a moment and talk a little bit about an actual usable working definition of ADHD. We've already talked about the hallmark symptoms. We've already talked about what it means to have ADHD, that there are different brain structures, or the brain structures are different and the functioning of the brain is different. We've talked about what it means to be living with ADHD, the different subtypes, but I don't know if that gets clear enough yet. And I know it was a challenge for me, looking at my patients who were diagnosed with ADHD. A lot of them, I'd look at them and go, I don't really see the ADHD. I don't see the hyperactivity. I don't see the impulsiveness. I don't see the inattentiveness. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But let's look at what does it really mean to have ADHD. What are some of the examples? We know that ADHD is due to differences mostly in the frontal lobe, which has to do more with executive functioning. So if you think of an organization, the frontal lobe, front part of the brain, is the CEO. They're responsible for decision making, it's working memory, time management, things like that. That's what tends to get quote-unquote impaired or presents the challenges. So working memory, let's take a look at that. ADHD, or somebody with ADHD might lose their keys. And that's working memory, and I'll get to that. Now, it's not because they weren't paying attention, but it tends to be that they were thinking of too many other things while they put their keys down. So they weren't giving sufficient attention to putting their keys down, their wallet, misplaced items. So that's what it's like. Somebody is just thinking so much about so many different things that they just are not devoting enough attention to, I'm putting my keys down on the counter here, I'll come back and get them. That's what's happening. And on the flip side of that, behind the scenes, what we don't really talk about a lot, or maybe that we don't know a lot about, is when somebody with ADHD then needs to go find those keys, the wallets, the misplaced item, they're exerting a lot of emotional energy into, oh my goodness, I lost my keys, I can't find them, I can't believe I did it again, and there's this whole process that follows. That takes a lot of energy. So what happens on the other side once we find the keys, the wallet? So we've exerted so much energy trying to find what we've misplaced, that when it comes to the real task at hand, to completing homework, to getting out the door on time, we've exerted so much energy that we're just flat, or just missing that energy to carry through. That's a workable definition right there. If you look at another common symptom is the inattention. You look at people, kids, for instance, who can play video games for hours and hours and hours, but then they can't sit still to do their homework, or they don't focus on their homework. Well, that has more to do with inattentiveness, but it's not the lack of attention. It's where's the emphasis of attention? The variable attention is the problem with ADHD. And it comes down to having not enough attention or too much attention. So with the video games, the person can play a lot of video games because they're involved, they're passionate. Whereas with their homework, they're not as passionate. So again, the focus needs to be more on how do we get these kids engaged? How do we get people engaged? And the hyperactivity, well, man, that has a lot to do with the energy, releasing energy, having a lot of energy. And like I said, a lot of that can be mistaken for passion. A lot of it can, the hyperactivity can just be from passion. So I want you to focus more on, again, please focus more on the behaviors. Focus more on what is the challenge being presented by the behavior, what are the goals you're looking to accomplish, and how can you get there. Let's not just look at somebody and say, oh, they're hyperactive, oh, they're inattentive, oh, their impulsiveness, that's ADHD, and we think we've packaged it and done a good job, because we haven't. What we need to do is we need to look at what does that person really need in life. Where are they today? Where do they want to go? What are the challenges in the way, and how do we get through them, or how do we help them overcome those challenges? That's more of what we should be focusing on. That's the differences I keep mentioning, in understanding differences. And again, we will get in more depth into all of this in the next episode. Take care, everybody.